Afternoon, David here again from Out and About the NT. Today is the 18th of November 2025, so approximately almost 12 months since I've put these tyres on the GU Patrol. As you can see, they're no longer on said patrol and I've taken them off. This is the spare tyre. As you can see, it's not worn at all, wasn't used. I did rotate these tyres just around from front to rear and that sort of stuff. They've got approximately 22 to 25,000 Ks on them. Overall, not too bad. Pretty impressed, happy enough with the grip on the road, in the wet, off-road in the mud. You know, they're pretty good for what they are. On the rocky sort of stuff, no real dramas. There's a couple of little cuts and chips, as you can see there. I didn't really have the opportunity to go through any thick sand or anything like that where I had to air down. I would imagine, being such a tall, skinny tyre, they would have no dramas. Once you lowered the pressures right down, they'd track really well. Would I buy them again? Well, probably not. Considering the price, they were really, I think I paid like $200 each for them as second-hand sort of things, takeoffs. They've just worn too quick for my liking. As I said, about 25,000 Ks off down to about, most of the tyres across them have got about 5 mil of tread, so I might get another max 10K out of them. This one here, you can see, it's probably the easiest to see it on, but it's kind of worn away on the edges more than the middle. I believe that was one of the drivers, and this one here, I believe these ones were on the front axle. So whether that was an alignment issue, whether there's more weight in the front where the engine is, I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, just not quite happy with the wear to warrant going out and getting another complete set. I think they'd be good tyres on if you're running like a lighter vehicle, maybe like a Series Land Rover or an older Hilux where you want 33s, but without the weight of going to said 33-inch tyres. Because you can see the difference between, this is the spare, how much tread, it's about 11 mil I think it is from when I measured it, and this is, these are down to about 5, somewhere between 4 and 5 sort of thing. So overall, it's a good little experiment. Not many people seem to use the 225 95 R16, probably because they do wear a bit quicker than average. As I said, like if you're on a light vehicle, I reckon they would be alright. For the record, I did inquire about the Toyo AT3s in this particular size, because apparently they are available. However, in my area and even within a few hundred Ks of where I am, they were not available, and they were just going to be too expensive to get freighted in. So I ended up moving away from this size and onto a different size, which I'm also going to start a little review on as well. Just one other thing I wanted to note, when I was talking about first purchasing these size, a lot of people said, you have a lot of blowouts and the sidewalls are really weak. I haven't had any issues with blowouts. I've been on, some reasonably dirt road, rocky sort of terrain down around Central Australia, around that Tennant Creek area, which is pretty rough country. These are light truck. I believe they're about an 8 ply from what I can discover. But I mean, the sidewalls, they're fairly stiff. Are they like a 10 ply, like with a modern sort of construction? Definitely not. Would I recommend these for like real hardcore, like, if you're going right out in the desert, like it's real rubbish country and rough country? Yeah, I'll probably give them a miss. But overall, for what I used them for, I didn't have any dramas in terms of puncturing. I didn't find that the sidewall stuck out too much once fitted to the vehicle. I think that's very rim specific. I was running them on a 7-inch rim, and they just, as you can see from the other videos, they just seem to fit on there nicely, and they didn't bulge, because a lot of people reckon that they would bulge. I think that's possible, the sidewalls would bulge. I think that's possibly a case when you're like the factory Land Cruiser tyres. They're on a 6-inch rim, they possibly will stick out, the sidewalls will stick out further just because of the narrower rim, whereas on a 7-inch rim they seem to be fine. From a road driving perspective, they're actually pretty good in terms of like rolling resistance. Being such a narrow tyre, they rolled really nice and easily along the road. Didn't have any dramas with like aquaplaning or anything, they just worked on the highway. If there was more tread options or tyre options in this particular size, other than the three that are pretty common, like the SP Road Grippers, Bridgestone 697 I think it is, and then the Toyo OPAT 3s, if there was other varieties in maybe like a 10 ply, or even just a cheaper option, because I believe brand new these are somewhere in the vicinity of $400 to $500 per tyre, which, considering you're only going to get about 25,000 k's, maybe 30 depending on your vehicle, it's just too much money for the wear and the life. Whether the Toyo ones will last longer, that remains to be seen, but that'll be either I'll try them later on in time when these other tyres that I've talked about that I'm going to review have worn out, or whether that's somebody else to review.